Next is streets. We all care about streets, even though we want to be very pedestrian focused. We still need streets to get around on. And we maintain and upgrade our streets on a yearly basis. This year, this is actually a picture I snapped on Saturday morning, is Frost Lane. And that's our project for this year. And the borough portion, if you remember, this is a borough township joint project. The borough portion is $83,610. In addition to this, there's also engineering fees that we're also sharing with the township. We need to run the borough, and we do this through a number of ways. We have excellent staff. We have engineering fees that we entail, and we also have legal fees to make sure that our solicitor keeps us out of trouble. And these are all important expenditures to really maintain and run the borough. You all remember this. This, actually, I took this snapshot from my cell phone, and this is a picture of one of our 20-plus inch snowstorms last year. You know, I mentioned that I was showing pictures of things we cared about and things we invested in the borough. I don't know if we all care about snow. In fact, sometimes it seems to be a nuisance, but it really is something that, as a borough, we provide a service to all the taxpayers to make sure the roads are safe and clear, and the sidewalks are safe and clear that we control. And just to spend a minute on this, although it was such a beautiful day, it's hard to think about this amount of snow. If you take a look at our snow removal expenditures over the past couple of years, it's a very interesting pattern. And these are actual numbers except for the 2010, which is a budget number. And you can see that it sort of oscillates. We have good years and bad years from a snow perspective. And it all depends upon the weather. You see there in 2009, I think our budget was around $65,000 or $70,000 for snow removal. And we were 117, I believe, was the actual, because we had some big snows in December, which really impacted us. 2010 budget was $65,000. Actual, we're up at $151,000. Bob, Mike, and I met with our vendor who takes care of snow, and we were planning for 2010, 2011 time frame to see, just review how we go about snow removal. The point I want to make here is not that the snow removal fees are increasing, and as you can see, it does oscillate. The fact that 2009, 2010 was a year that hopefully we'll never experience again for another 100 years. I think it is an outlier on snow. So here's the boring pie chart, which basically says everything I just said. And you can see, the police department there in the bottom blue, 52% of our overall expenditure out of this fund. And public works is about 11%, zoning, planning, and HARB at 7%. Next is just a view across the years. And I think been looking at this trend over time, and it's very interesting. My takeaways from this chart is that the borough, as a borough, we enjoyed the rising revenue growth over time, and a lot of that in the 2004, 2005, 6, 7 time frame is due in large part to the Frost-Watson development happening. And as you can see, 2008, 9, and 10, we're in tougher economic times. Real estate transfer taxes down, The earned income tax has been flat. You know, the general trend has been to a decline early on, and we see it flattening out now. We haven't gotten together to see what we think about 2011 yet. That's going to be work that we're doing this month. And on the expense side, you know, I think we pride ourselves as a borough in cautiously handling the taxpayers' dollars. And we're at roughly today, from the 2010 budget, where we were in 2007. So we've been holding the line on expenses, and unfortunately the revenue line has been coming down. So my takeaway message in thinking about 2011 is to consider that last chart as we're beginning the 2011 budget process. You know, our revenue is I would call it flat. Expenses, we all know our home expenses are increasing. Healthcare costs and other costs continue to rise. And this is my editorial comment, I think we provide consistent and improved services to borough residents. I think you see that in both what our police department delivers, what our streets and roads department delivers, and so forth. We have to plan for future expenditures. Some of those are going to be must-dos, such as street signage. And Mike's not here tonight, but he can explain at some point that we are going to be mandated to replace every one of our street signs in town and traffic signals in town with a new and improved reflection and safety of the poles that actually stand there. That's going to be a big expense, and there's going to be a plan to do that over the next several years. That's a must-do. And then there's always wish list expenditures. We've talked tonight about websites and other things. You know, and then last but not least, there's unplanned expenditures, snow or other things that we must do for public safety. And my message is that as we, the council and the finance committee, and we want as much public input as possible, we really need to prioritize. We need to think about some tough trade-offs and tough decisions. We need to look for greater efficiencies in how we spend our money, and we need to look to grant funding as an important source for the projects that might be on that wish list. So, you know, in closing, I think we just have been being very rigorous about how we approach the budget over the past few years, and we're looking forward to another exciting season of putting the budget together. But I really wish that folks stay engaged. Come to those meetings where we start to talk about our budget, so you'll hear the discussion and see how we're going to manage in 2011. I'm very confident that we are going to manage successfully in 2011 with Pat and Bob and the rest of council taking a close look at this. So I'm tempted to say it's all about the Benjamins, but I won't. Any questions?
Yeah, very nice.
You're not too bored? You're still awake? But it's important stuff. It's where our taxpayers' dollars go.